Welcome to Straight Out of Savannah, Talking with Tammi, a podcast that showcases people you may not know who are choosing to use their gifts to inspire and move the planet.
Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah. I am so excited. My guest, Sekimano, is here, and he is going to share exactly who he is and what he does and how he can help you. So, Sekimano, take it away.
Oh, I like to put it in a simpler word that I'm a philosopher, and people look at me, oh, shit, you black. Yes, I'm a philosopher. I'm a political economist, analyst, and bottom line, I call myself a merchant of ideas. Right? Because I really have the mission, like we say, like we gotta teach people how or bring our own perspective on big global decision. And we should not wait for any permission. So I don't wait for my permission. I go around, I rent a guide capitalism, I talk about development, and I tend to have two different speech for two different worlds because I live in the US, but I'm Congolese by birth. And I like to call myself fermented around the world. So my idea is a mix of a lot of stuff that I experiment, I experience, but again, from my own perspective, with my own context. So I don't know it at all, but what I know it because I know.
Yes. How many books have you written?
I've written 5, but I would say the one that's known to the first book that I wrote because I was pissed off against the system. I just wrote a book, right?
And what's the name of that one?
Economic Jihad.
Okay.
So I wrote a book. I was like, okay, this thing, capital is not working. I tell stories. I make it. We should not talk about economy putting math. Is stories after stories. I say why it's not working. I give an example, like in Kenya, Mama Venson is a woman who gave me a kid, right? So looking for change to give to her, then the police came and they look at me, they stop. I said, what's going on? They said they passed an ordinance that they shouldn't have no beggar in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm like, this messed up. So pissed off. Months later, I'm in St. Petersburg, Florida. So I saw somebody take a Greyhound. I like, what's going on? I say, oh yeah, if they catch you, you look like a hobo and St. Pete, they arrest you and they ask you where you came from and they give you a ticket out, one ticket out from St. Petersburg. So I'm like, okay, these two different worlds, but instead of fighting poverty, they wage a war against the poor, right? So this Africa, right? And this the US, but they have one thing in common, right? They're just ashamed of the poor and they're waging a war against the poor instead of poverty. So I found to write about that kind of story in the book, why capitalism is not working. And then in the book, I talk about this thing called ethosism, right? I was driving one day, so people keep asking me, what's that thing you talk about? So I'm like, I gotta give it a name. So I look at my wife in the car, I say, I know there's ethos. I like, check if there's ethosism. She's like, no. I say, okay, this thing is ethosism. The thing I'm talking about is ethosism. So that's how it went. I wrote out the book and people were like, no, we want to know this thing. Explain to us again. Because in the book, I just wrote one chapter about it. Like, no, you have to sit, explain to us. So in 2019, I'm like, I was writing a book about his fun name, Don't Have Sex with an Activist, right? President. And people say monogamy, that's what I wrote, ethosism, right? And on the cover, you see capitalism strike, communist strike. So it's not this other thing. This a new thing. But I'm going to start by telling you guys why we need these new things, how we're going to implement this new thing. Because
okay, see, that's important.
Yes. Otherwise,
because everybody talks about things and they gloss it over and they get on their high horse and they have this whole conversation, but nobody talks about the how, even the why sometimes.
Yes. So I had to sit down and say, okay, look at this. This is why this is here. This is why it's not working. This is this new thing, and this is the why we need this. And what is this? Then I tell you what is ethos. But I have to make that case in this book. So yes.
That's quite interesting.
Yes, I hope so.
What put you on this path?
What put me in, it's just been not finding our voices on a global stage when we talk about capitalism, about global issue, right? We talk about our home, we talk about area, but again, I saw European or even African American who write things on, let's say, Congo, right? They come a couple of days and they think they got it, right? And that's how they mess people up.
Yes.
And the world we're trying to, we learn other voices, right? Other culture, right? Einstein has his background, that's why he say what he say, right? Karl Marx, here's his background, his was racist. That's why when people call me, you're a Marxist, I'm like, no, the guy was a racist. So he, from his own perspective, background on his time, we need to contribute for this solution. We have the obligation to contribute from our perspective, how to solve global inequality, right? Which is increasing, ever increasing, faster than ever before.
Okay, I have a question about that. So do you feel like it's increasing? Because here's the thing that I've been thinking about lately about that. I'm not sure if it's increasing or if it's just being spotlighted. If now we see it more, now it's being shown more and they're, spotlighting it.
No, it's been increasing. It's been spotlighted because it's now ridiculous, right?
Yeah, yes.
When you had the 1900s, you have the robber baron. There's few white people who were extremely rich. Now every day there's some people is crazy, right? You have so many billionaires. Yeah. Even China, not long ago they were poor. They got rich, but it's not Chinese. They have so many billionaires. And now we got to understand, that's a question that I ask. And that's what I tell people. I give an example. I like, listen, in developed world is not the same context than, if I can abuse the term, in the third world. In developed world is, you look at two sides, like, why is it increasing? I'm like, yes, you look at in the US report, I think, like, see, the top 5% hold 65% of wealth. And
did you say 2%?
5%.
5%, okay.
They control 65. The bottom 50%, they only have less than 3% of the health, of the wealth, sorry. So what's happening? You say, yes, there's something that you gotta see. The 50% at the bottom, most of them, they're like labor worker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is about how they get remunerated. They get nominal wage. The 5% at the top, they get a profit, the percentage of the profit, right? That's what has created this gap, is double standard how people get paid, right? And this is based on capitalism, right? The discussion that happened in England when slavery was still booming and white people abused other white people, that was the notion. But he was right, because at that time, to open a factory, you have to pay money, you have to have your own money to build the factory, but also to train the worker, right? So I'm like, let's put it aside. In the third world country, they've not gotten to that level, which I say, developed world are getting so good at creating prosperity, but they really suck at showing prosperity. The third world country, they don't create prosperity. They're still at the level of accumulating wealth by individual.
Well, they're at a survival level though, right?
The survival level, you're still having people who understand how to accumulate money from themselves. But sooner or later, they're gonna get to that level, right? Because they're learning fast. They're gonna get to create prosperity, and now there'll be the same problem, how to share prosperity.
So what do you, when you say third world countries, what are you considering third world countries? Because there's all kinds of thoughts on that. And I just want to know, because I'm from America and I don't know. So I just wanted to ask that.
So the best way to explain to explain it is this. Congo, people know that is rich on raw material, right? Reserve. And people keep asking, why Congo so rich of resources, but his people are poor? And like, we're asking the wrong question. We should be asking why Congolese who live in Congo are poor. And the answer is because they live in a low income nation. So it's all about income, right? From the same job, I tell people, I drink my coffee in Kinshasa and I drink the coffee in New York. But why does a person and the price sometimes is the same, but why
Yes.
does that person in New York has a car, roughly a car, has an apartment, but in Congo, the one in Congo has nothing. It's like primitive poverty. Is the value that they assign to people, right? Doing the, what you can say, mega job. Like
Yes.
here we have minimum wage, which is, I think is $7 an hour. In Congo, the minimum wage is $1, I think, a day. They don't respect it, right? Right? Even $1 a day. So people, for serving coffee, people say about production, right?
That almost sounds like back in the what, maybe the 1900s or something here.
There we go. They're still on that level, and that's the
Okay.
colonization mindset. They're like, oh, I should not be paid like in America, right?
Well,
I don't deserve.
But what is that from though? I mean, what causes that to? Yeah.
Colonization mindset. Like all this
Yes.
country, they got free, but they still have the colonized mindset, right? You have
That's
an
right.
elite who just want to be an elite, who are not the best, who don't want to compete, right?
Yes.
They avoid competition. So you ended up to have an elite that's incompetent, right? Like I go like some country, they tell me, you know what? You talk like an American. And I tell them what? You beg me to help you to have your kid to go to school in the US. So you want your son to have those luxury, but you don't want everybody else. We can change the country, right? It is a mindset, is a colonized mindset of who is the elite and who deserve what kind of life one deserve in those countries. So when you say about what is a third world country, is easy. Low income country. It's just about the income. It's nothing else. It's not about
So just the paper.
Just how much they say your life worth in those countries. Doing the same job. I give people an example, coffee, and it costs the same way in Congo. But when you see the person serve you coffee, you know their life. Sometimes they have to beg for transport. Some of these girls, they come so that they can find a rich guy to pimp her, right? They just know over there rich people, so-called foreigner, drink coffee, so they might have a chance. And then you see the owner of the store, he keep all the money for himself, right? He go to New York on vacation, he does this, but who is the fault? Is mindset. People don't fight for the revenue, right? Here we have a conversation about minimum wage. Over there they don't, right? Here we have conversation around unemployment rate, right? Over there they don't, right? They talk about maybe healthcare, but it's really in a primitive way, and is for people like me, I can point myself to not forcing the discussion, to make people understand, no, you have the right to demand the same right to anywhere else. Because
Yes.
A cup of coffee, that was my example that people use. A cup of coffee is a cup of coffee. Nobody go to the farm, get to the coffee beans and do stuff. Even in America, the person selling the coffee need to have the same lifestyle.
So now, do you feel like different parts of Africa are have different mindsets, or do you feel like it's all really a colonizer mindset, or how do you feel about that?
It's all the colonizer mindset, but is who colonized you. For example, if you go to the French colony, they're the worst, right? Even till today, they use a currency that's printed in France, right? And they want to be French. They revolt against France, right? They say France is bad, but then still they ask for French permission to revolt. Then, right? It's like I was with some activists from Chad. They're like, no, this new president got to go. And we, went to France at the presidential office to tell him. I'm like, how can you want to kick your guys go and you still against France, but you ask them for permission. Then you have the British colonized British. They're better than the French colonized, but not really better, right? It's like two midgets. One is just taller than the other one, but they all have themselves mindsets on issue of development. They want to be British, right? They just, and the British want to be human. I told them, a British doesn't want to be British, an American doesn't want to be American. He is already. So want to be human, right? So why you want to be an American is it's wanting what he wants. He want to be human. He want human right. They don't say American right. They say human right, right? Police brutality is against a human, right?
Yes.
That's how they look at it.
And you know, the thing is, we think that is new what's going on, but it's not new.
It's not new.
Just the spotlight is being shined on it now.
It's been shined, but there's another factor, which you said the good thing about, let's say, capitalism. Because Black people have money now, right? They have control. And not only Black people have money, I said this is what comes to ethos. I was like, you know, with capitalism, the owner of money, they got tired, lazy. They didn't want to pay the worker, so they sent you to school, pay for your own schooling. But what they did, this worker have become sophisticated, right? Now we own our own means of participation. If you go get a job, even in publics, right? They ask you for a resume. You need to have a degree or know what you're doing, and you pay for it. That's what they say in America. Is like the student loan is 1.6 trillion. So people pay a lot of money to learn. One. Yes, but they still pay you as a slave in the 19th century, right? So now, what's not only, let's say, Black people money, but they have better quality means of participation. Means if you want to create a Google, if you want to create a software, if you want an economy, if you want to manage stuff, you hire the best of the one who has the best quality means. And Black people do. Minorities start having. Now you cannot close the door. You need them to make the system work. Yeah. And by needing them, you start paying them better, and you give them power to voice their voice, if I can put this the same way, which other countries don't, right? So it's a new thing, but is the minority has a new tools, which is means of participation, right? You cannot kick them out of the door if you wanted to continue. Bank hire Blacks, right? You cannot discriminate Blacks for example, housing, right? Because you have a problem. Who's going to buy all these homes, right? Now, even though you're racist, but you want your bank to make profit, right? While people already have so much homes, they're not going to buy the new home. The new home is going to be bought by this new immigrant, the minority, right? You may not like Mexican, but hey, who's going to buy this home that we keep building just for the economy to keep going? So it becomes like an entrapment. Like, yes.
Wait. Okay. All right. So when we talk about that, what is like the main topic that when you speak, what is the main topic that people want you to come and speak
on? Explain what is ethos.
Say that again.
They ask me what is ethos, this thing that people Google me, because if you Google me, that's what you're going to say. And I go like, okay, you want to know what it is, but I'll start by telling you why. And I start telling them, yeah, we have a problem here. Labor, because of they become so sophisticated, right? And the technology is out there, they become super efficient. That's why we have what I call the cheapening of our want and need, right? There's too much of it. And then you have nation, especially the developed one, who want the part to keep going, right? They get addicted to growth, right? You got a positive growth every year. So now they're using what I call the oxycontin of the people, credit. So people now can pull way back in the future this so-called potential revenue, right? And spend it now, right? That's why you see the 10 richest countries are also the 10 most indebted, right? And the 10 poorest are also the 10 least indebted. That's one reality people don't see. But are those countries super indebted like the US trillion, China trillion, France trillion? Are they gonna stop? No, they're gonna keep.
No, they're gonna keep going.
right? So that's a problem. I'm like, we need another system. There's a guy who I use all the time. His name is Bernard Russell, who said in the 30s, right? He didn't really get what it was, but he said, okay, if we're not diminish the love of money, which has been said, right, is a root of all evil. The first step is to creating a system in which everyone get enough and nobody get too much. So people say, oh, that's social and communist. I say, no, we need a new system. I'm like, okay, let's look at capitalism. Capitalism is based on two factors. One, this primitive description of labor and the notion there's not enough for everybody, scarcity. So let's talk about the primitive definition. I'm like, no, before you used to pay people to train them to do a job. Now in 21st century, than ever before, people have degree means they have quality means of participation in the enterprise, business, right? In society. Two, scarcity, right? They say scarcity, but I say one of the resources under talk, under value is creativity.
Yes.
And creativity is the mother of innovation. And we know today, right? Prosperity is based on creativity, right? You have, let's just give an example, just like iPhone. You need to come every year. People need to think about apps, all these people coming together, tie in the means of participation to create new things, even the one that we don't want, even global warming. Global warming will be solved by our ability to innovate solutions, right? To innovate how we use resources. Even diamond today, they can make a diamond in a lab, right? So all this is human creativity. So now I say, you cannot give the person with money the lion's share because they're not paying you, right? For your means of participation, you get it. So for me, muscle, brain, knowledge is as good as money and gold. And for it, I go back to the pirate ship. You know, the pirate ship, they should share percentage of the loot. So everybody should get the percentage of the surplus. What's it gonna do? Two things, right? Unlike socialism and communism, it's gonna take away from the discussion the middleman, which is the state. On the other side, unlike capitalism, it's gonna slow down, right, the proliferation of billionaires by creating a better quality, solid middle class. And that's what I like to tell people, like, yes, you gotta understand why that we're having a problem and we're not yet able to solve it through the argument of some white dudes in 19th century who were racist and, you know, elitist. We need to look at the reality of the 21st century. I said the 21st century, there's two reality. More than ever, people own their own means of participation in enterprise. Two, prosperity is based on innovation, and innovation, creativity is a resource that is infinite, right? Gold is finite, oil is finite, right? But our creativity moves us to say, no, we're still gonna create electrical cars. Did we run out of oil? No, we just say, to solve global warming, we need to have another way to do what we do. And to be creative.
You know what we also have to do?
Yes.
We also have to believe that it exists.
I think like
the first thing.
I feel like we don't have to. The people who can will. There's always somebody somewhere thinking about it, right?
Yeah.
Like I say, for example, I say about ethos, people say, one, let's be frank, when I talk about solving global issue and say this new school of thought, people look at me like, you Congolese, you black, you white, you pass. I'm like, yes, whatever, right? So I bring it on the table something that somebody else might not have seen it. Yes. I have the ability to say it because I live in two worlds. I'm like, what's going on in the US, which is not happening in this other world, right? Kenya and stuff. I say, oh shit, the US have another problem that they think everybody got. And this other third world, they think, so we need to talk about two things. Share prosperity, right? We need to understand that the American problem is not the same as the third world problem. They're still trying to create and accumulate wealth by individual, right? They still, most of them think all the money should go to the state. right? Is the state need to get the money and then give everybody, right? So they have two problems, but at the end of the day, they're gonna end up understanding this formula, creating debt, right? And having more people. And even today, at the independence of Congo, there was only 3 people with a university degree, 3 in 1960. So they could not create the prosperity, right? So they didn't have the means of prosperity. But today there's a university all over, right? Congo, quality, we can have a debate about it, right? Because it takes money to have quality education, even as a system itself. So yes, but one day they're gonna get to this part. But to solve everything, we need to fundamentally creating a new system, in which organically, not forced, organic, everybody get enough percentage of the profit. And nobody gets too much, because I bet you, if Amazon were paying everybody in terms of percentage of the company, Jeff Bezos will not have 100 trillion, right? 100 billion, sorry. He will get maybe 20, but everybody in Amazon, even the guy wake up 2 o'clock in the morning to go for the package in these factories, he will get enough money to live a certain human life, right? Worth it, right? He will be able to afford for a home. He will be able to have better quality. So we need to stop cheapening our want. Fast food. Fast food exists because we're poor, right? Most of people need to be able to eat. But if everybody start making money, then people gonna start, now they're gonna ask, require for quality, right? And it's good for our health.
So do you think that this can happen in your lifetime?
I think that's not what I'm seeking. It might be, right? It might be. One journalist asked me, when are you going to believe that you're successful? I'm like, some kid debate about my ideas, right? And then one day on Facebook, I saw my name flashing. I'm like, what the hell is this? So there's 2 kids debating about my idea, but they were in Tamugenga, in my village, right? They was on Facebook and go, no, this guy's not right. I'm like, I forgot to clarify, right? I want to be successful. I want them to debate in the US or England. But bottom line is, where the idea was embraced by these 2 kids in the middle, what we can call today nowhere, you never know what they're gonna be tomorrow. So my mission is to talk about these ideas, right? And let's pray. Even Karl Marx, he died. It took like in the 1930s, 40s for Marxists to be adopted, right? Long time. He was not even a Marxist, right? Because he's just doing stuff and people adopted. So for me, if it happened in my lifetime, great. If it doesn't, great as well. But what I want, I'm spreading the news, and that's all I can do. Infect people with this idea, and let's see how it's gonna run. Because sometimes people say stuff that I never said, right? They take my idea and they translate it their way from their own background and say, yes, like you say, I just have to agree. And I go like, wow, they said better than I said. They can teach me about my idea from their own context. So I travel a lot just to exchange, to talk to people, and let them take this idea, take it as it is, or translate it from their own context and perspective. But that's all I can do, right? That's all we can do. Affect people with this method.
I was gonna say, that's a lot. I can see this thing I can see it going forward. Yes. And it just, to me, it feels so expansive, like it's almost like it's going to be a click and people are going to get aha moments from it. You know, it's like people are going to start to take this what you're sharing and create from there. Yes. You know, and that's what it feels like to me.
If I would like it to feel like to me too, but I would like, don't feel it. Just say it from what you really believe, and while I'm doing this, there's other activism things that I'm still doing, right? And then I know it's hard because people have a hard time to believe there's this other thing that's not capitalism, right? They're trying to patch it all the time. They try to make it this other thing because they just have hard time to let it go. Like there's, who said that I'm the only one who see it as it is, and I'm the one who need to tell people, and they go like you said, they might to have the aha moment. And especially that I think like the aha moment might not happen where I think it's going to happen. Right. That's why I travel, I go to Vietnam, I go to all these other places, right? To somewhere they might adopt it before anywhere else. Who knows? Who knows?
And the thing is, I look at it like this, like with my children, they're all grown. So what I do with them is I plant seeds.
Yes.
I don't tell them what to do, none of that, because, they're not going to listen anyway. So I just plant the seed. If I think about something, I'll say, you know what, maybe you should check out so-and-so, or what you think about blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And then they'll go do the research, get out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so I've done that mostly all their lives, but especially since they've been grown and out of my house, because I don't want to, I want them to, whatever their decisions are, I want them to own them. And I don't want them to come back and say, well, my mama told me blah, 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 blah,
And even when you say about kids, that's what I've found that when you go to older people, or even people of our age, you tell them about it, they go like, they give you a headache. No, this is communist, this. And then when I go to university and talk to the young, they just get it, right? It's just, they just get it. And I'm like, aha. So I have even a movement, right? I have an organization that go to universities to talk to the youngest one, to be like, who knows among these in the room, who they're going to be. And it's not, I have not conducted yet a study, but from my perspective, women, right? Girls, if I can exaggerate the term, tend to be in my comfort. They ask specific question and they tend to get it. I don't know why. Maybe the guy, ego, society, paternity society, but everywhere I go, and I still get me like back in my head about, the person who might implement ethos in the system when they become in power is going to be a woman who feel like we need to change the world. I think because the women are more inclined to say, this system gotta change, right? There's too much of ism against a woman than the guy. I think maybe that's why they, in their crusade of looking for a change, when I tell them they got it, compared to guys who are more, they're looking for a job, or they're looking for, I don't know why. One of these days I'm gonna conduct a study, but everywhere I go to these countries, the poorer I get, the more I can see the line drawn. Even at the end of my conference, it is young girls who come to me and they ask specific, and they ask for follow-up question. And some of them, we debate really, right? They're just passionate. No, this cannot be. And at the end, because I'm used to it, I'm like, oh, she thinks she's the first person to ask me this question. So I'm like, yes, I drag her, then boom, I tell her, this is the solution. And she's smart, and I go, at least you got it, because we had a debate, so it's more vivid than the other one who came, applaud, and left the room.
That's what's up. That is what's up. Wow, I wish that I could talk to you for another hour.
No, not
but we do not have that kind of time today. But I appreciate you coming on the show, Sekimanyo. It's been amazing. My head is blown because I'm going to think about this and I'll listen later too. But share with the people how they can connect with you, and if there's anything that you're doing right now, like if you're going to be speaking somewhere, or and how they can get in touch with you.
People just have to Google ethosism, like ethos, so they're gonna see my name and where to get my books or anything, even my talks. I'm supposed to have I'm supposed to talk to a TEDx in Gaza, but right now they're bombing each other, right, in Israel. Let's hope that I can talk to this kid and give them another dream, another perception of life. Another one that I'm probably going to run for presidency for Congo next year, right? People tell me, no, go.
Wait.
Yes.
You're gonna run for presidency in the Congo?
Yes, next year.
That's what's up, okay.
So that's one of the things that people dragging me left and right. So in the middle of preaching exorcism, in the middle of maybe going to go get killed in Gaza next month. So
let's hope not.
let's not hope. And I'm like, because people told me in Congo, I talk, right? I'm saying about all this solution, who's gonna do it? Then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna run for presidency next year. I know that one person cannot change it, but you can bring a new vision, right? You can lay the foundation for somebody.
You can start.
Else. Yes, a new direction. They say even the longest journey, start by the first step. That's a Chinese, and I say on the right direction, because if you start on the wrong, you can keep going. So that's what I'm going to be really working on for into 2023. Just preaching, and just talking, and let's see if I don't get killed. We run for the presidency.
Okay, so we're going to speak that you're not going to get killed.
Yes.
Because I would love to see you run for the presidency. So at least when I come over there, you know.
No, when you're coming over, I will invite you. I'm going to get you kidnapped. You're just going to be one day walking around like, just bring it over. So by the time you get to Congo, I say, yes, this is what we're supposed to do. Okay, next interview. Like, ask me now.
Well, I mean, y'all, you know what? Y'all my people, me and my husband. We both had the same thing.
Yes, and plus he's an ex-military, so he can protect me, right?
Yeah, he's good.
I hope he's still in shape, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. All right. So this has been so amazing. I have enjoyed this so much. I cannot wait, and I am so super excited to be speaking with the next president of the Congo.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for raising the expectation, but
yes.
Okay. Thank you. I remember that you said it. Thank you.
We're going to put it up there.
Thank you for inviting me. Or some people have podcasts. They're just doing it because they're bored. And time to time you run into people who is doing it as a tools to communicate it, to share, to give people like me a voice, a room to rant, right? To express. And you have that vibe that allow people to just be themselves. So keep doing what you're doing, please.
Thank you.
And I can see more than the podcast. Whatever you want to do, the spirit is already there.
Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, we're going to get up here now. Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah. If you have a story to tell or you're changing the planet and you would like to come on Straight Out of Savannah, just reach out to me. Give me a call, send me a message on whatever platform that you see me on. My email is also in there. And Sekmanyo's links also will be in the description of the video. So how you can reach out to him and see how you can support him for his bid for the presidency. All right, so thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah. Bye now.
I know you've been blown away with the amazing value here today. Now go out and inspire the planet. And be sure to send us a message when you're ready to come talk about it on Straight Out of Savannah, Talking with Tammi.
Hello, this is Tammi, and I would love it if you would join me for my Healing Forward Masterclass. It is going to be so fabulous. We are going to have healing activation. It is going to be incredible. When you leave, you are going to feel like new money. So join me on my Healing Forward Masterclass at August 31st at 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Reach out to me and send me a message and let me know that you are interested, and I will send you the link. It is only $37 for this healing activation masterclass. It's going to be phenomenal. You will feel like you are walking on the clouds when you finish. So thank you so much for that. And if you are interested in having your own personal healing session, reach out to me for that as well. So thank you so much for joining me. And thank you for listening to this amazing, amazing podcast. Bye now.